We're now on item number 39, Senate Bill 1148 by Senator White. Senator White, you're recognized.
Last but not least, this legislation aims to protect individuals who are entitled to immunity for civil liability for the use or threatened use of force. This bill establishes a process for a defendant to assert civil immunity or request a stay of a civil proceeding until all criminal proceedings have concluded.
Members, you've heard an explanation of the bill, and there's no amendments on the bill. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Senator White's moved the bill. Is there a second on the bill? Seconded by Senator Rose. We have a motion and a second on the bill. Are there questions on the bill? I know we have a witness. Let's see. Senator Robinson, you want to ask questions first or go to the witness first? What would you prefer to do?
We can hear from the witness first.
Okay. So without objection, let's go into recess, and we have Miss Linda Ketchum. Ms. Ketchum, if you would, please come forward. Make sure the microphone is on and give us your name and who you're with for the record. And then you have 2 minutes? Okay, you have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. I tell you what, if you need 3, go ahead. Okay, all right. I was going to be generous today.
Thank you. Am I on?
You are on, so please give us your name and who you're with for the record.
Hello, I'm Linda McFadgen Ketchum. I'm a volunteer with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. I'm here today to oppose Senate Bill 1148, which would expand our Stand Your Ground law. As you know, when a life is taken or a victim is injured in a shooting, the law provides for 2 separate avenues, criminal and civil court, to seek redress for harm the victim and their family have suffered. This bill would allow users of deadly force to request that the victim or the victim's family delay filing a civil lawsuit until a criminal investigation or prosecution were concluded. If the shooter does not request a delay and the victim files a civil lawsuit, the shooter can request an immunity hearing to establish that they are immune from a civil suit, thereby stopping the clock. This bill puts users of deadly force in the driver's seat. If it becomes law, it will discourage people from seeking justice in the civil court system when they are at their most vulnerable, perhaps in need of money for injuries or counseling or even to pay funeral costs. This week is National Crime Victims' Rights Week. It would be a good week to show respect for victims of crime and stop this bill. It punishes victims and survivors by making them wait to seek relief, and it's weighted far too heavily in favor of users of deadly force. The organization I represent does not support Stand Your Ground laws. We see how often they are used in our country to exonerate people who murder people of color. Just look at the statistics on which shooters are more likely to successfully use a stand your ground defense and which victims are more likely to have their shooter go free. In addition, Tennessee law already provides immunity from lawsuits for people who lawfully use deadly force, but it requires them to prove they acted lawfully. The ability to recover damages against another person for the harm they have caused is a fundamental part of our constitutional system. The process should be carried out in a timely manner. Survivors know they will never get their loved one back. What they want is justice and the knowledge that the perpetrator will not harm someone else. And they want recompense for their pain and suffering and for other expenses they just weren't prepared for. They know they can never return to what they had or what they were, but they can move on. Should you pass this bill, it will make the path forward for Tennesseans who are survivors and victims even harder. Please vote against Senate Bill 1148. It goes against everything the civil justice system stands for. Tennessee does not need it, and Tennesseans do not want it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ketchum. If you would just stay there in case we have a question. Any questions for our witness? Seeing none, thank you for being here with us today. So without objection, we're now back in session, back on the bill. Senator Robinson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a question, and our witness actually hit upon it, but Tennessee already has significant civil immunity protections for people who use force. Why is there a need to expand that?
Senator White?
Yes, this just lays out a process and says that, of course, if a criminal investigation's going on, they can pause the civil because, you know, would there be stuff that's be the same of evidence in both cases? So this would pause, or it would allow an immediate hearing after within 40 days to decide. And so it's just a proceeding. It does not add anything to what already is in law of what, you know, if you shoot for self-defense, if you shoot because you feel like someone else is in harm. It does not create anything else. It just creates a procedure in order for the lawsuit to take place, the civil.
Senator Robinson?
Thank you. So what is the current process? Because I know there's some type of process for a defendant to be able to provide opposition to lawsuits. So what's the current procedure for that?
Senator White?
I do not want to mislead her or tell her wrong. I'm not an attorney, so could we go out of session and ask our legal?
So without objection, we're in recess. Did you hear the question, or do you need it repeated?
Yes, I heard.
You heard, and I'm sorry, if you could talk.
Sure.
Yes, there you go.
Elizabeth
Thank you.
and Sonia Legal Services. So this bill doesn't change the process so much as it adds a step. So it would still be the same process, but if there was a pending criminal investigation, the process would be on hold until the criminal investigation was concluded. And then separately, a defendant could file an expedited motion to dismiss if the claim is, if their defense is that they acted in justifiable self-defense. And the court would hold a hearing and rule on that motion prior to discovery and the trial process.
Okay. Senator Robinson, did you have any follow-up or?
Yes, I just wanted to get clarification because Ms. Sonia said that this was an addition to the process. So what's the core of the process right now?
You're recognized.
Under current law, if a defendant in a civil proceeding wants to assert that they acted in self-defense, then they would present that evidence at trial just like any other defense that they might be presenting.
Okay, Senator Robinson?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So without objection, we're now back in session. Senator Robinson, do you have any further questions for Senator White? Okay. Any further questions for the sponsor on the bill? Seeing none, no amendments, so we're on the bill. Any further questions? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, take the vote. And the motion is to calendar.
Senator Gardenhire? Votes aye. Senator Kyle? Votes no. Senator Lundberg?
Aye.
Votes aye. Senator Roberts? Votes aye. Senator Robinson? Votes no. Senator Rose?
Aye.
Votes aye. Senator Stevens?
Aye.
Votes aye. Senator White? Aye. Votes aye. Chairman Bell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes and 2 noes.
7 ayes, 2 noes. Your bill moves forward to calendar.